Hey guys, it's Missy Wolf, and I'm here with Mark Allen Cash, and we're at the Storytellers Museum, which is a phenomenal place, and it's got an amazing history that we are going to talk about right now. So, first of all, what is it like for you to be in this building, and did you ever think it was going to be restored like this to its original glory?
I did not. I'm still speechless. It's beautiful. It's absolutely, you could only dream of this, and the family is so proud to see this and to even be a part of it. My dad, Tommy Cash, comes out and entertains with us at least twice a month.
Great.
We have him come out. And there's talent here that is just, we're so lucky. We've got David Langley, who is one of the best entertainer, singer, songwriter, guitar picker that I've ever met, one of the best in the country. He's with us. And then we have Rachel Dawson, great singer, songwriter, good mother too.
Yes, we heard one of her songs that she wrote for her children, Walk On.
Absolutely.
Beautiful song.
So proud of her. And we've got a good team of people here at the farm and the museum to help guide you and answer any questions that you have about Johnny Cash, the Cash family, or anything else pertaining to that era,
Absolutely. And before you got started today, you talked about a picture where you're standing in this room, 14 years old, with Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins. What was that like for you? And did you have any idea at that moment at 14 years old how lucky you were, or how jealous people would be of you knowing that you were surrounded by so many great people?
Yeah, right. I will say it was hot that day. We had no air conditioning in this building at that time, or Uncle Johnny didn't. I didn't have the building. But we did surprise him with that party. I'll never forget that day and being here. We were here most of the afternoon. And, Carl Perkins said some things that were just jaw-dropping. What a friend he was to Uncle Johnny, and those guys helped change the face of music forever. So, what it was like to be around them, I really didn't know at that time what I was amongst. I didn't understand it because I saw them so much. I just, when I walked into a room, and there sat Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin brothers, and Willie Nelson, and Merle Haggard, and people like that. They were just Uncle Johnny's friends. That's all you thought, So, I knew they were famous, but now today I wish I could know what I know now in my heart and mind and go back. They would have set me out of the room. I would have, how'd you do that lick? What'd you do there?
You're right.
Right, but what an amazing part of history.
Absolutely. And, earlier you and I were talking, and you had a fun story about, everybody being there, passing around a guitar. And so can you tell everybody about that experience?
Yeah, I went with Dad to Uncle Johnny's one time, and they were having a party, and he had some friends over. And we walked in, and there were some of those people I just mentioned, and Jane Seymour, Dr. Quinn, medicine woman, and people like that, Robert Duvall. But they were passing the guitar around, and Rodney Crowell and several others had the guitar, and they finally passed it over to Willie, and he said, "Now I can tune it." He said, "You guys have been playing out of tune, and we just laughed. I will never forget that,
Oh my gosh, you know what, that's one of those moments too where, you're never going to forget that. That's going to be just that lifelong etched into your brain memory, and I can totally picture that happening. I mean, Willie is so funny, number one, and he's one of those guys that, whenever I'd see him on TV or see him performing, or, I saw him in the movie Dukes of Hazzard that they remade, right?
Right.
And I remember saying, man, I would love to hang out with that guy. I bet he's just a kick in the ass to hang out with.
Right.
And he is, and I'm yet to meet him to this day, but one day, Willie, I'm going to meet you.
That's right.
And then I'm going to talk to you about that guitar tuning day, because
he probably, but he might remember that. I'm sure he probably is.
I'm sure he would, and that's just that's so fun and exciting, and what a treasure to be able to have some of those memories with your family, but to be able to have all of those memories and to still be true to who you are and be an artist yourself, who's not so concerned with, I got to be the next Johnny Cash, I got to follow in his footsteps. You're doing your own thing, but you're still gracious enough to allow fans to embrace you knowing that they feel closer to your uncle. I mean, that's incredible. And I don't think everybody could pull that off. I think some people would have a really hard time with it, but you seem to just be, you understand where it's coming from, and you just seem so good about it all. So I want to thank you on behalf of all the fans who are so excited to meet you and everything. And I just think it's great. And everybody that was here today, they all just love you.
Oh, thank you so much.
It was fun. It was
fun.
fun.
I love them back. And a woman asked me, she said, have you ever been accused of riding on your uncle's coattails or going along for the ride? No. I've been doing this since I was 9. I'd been singing with Dad on the bus and at home a little bit, and he said, tonight I'm going to bring you out on stage. And I froze when he brought me out. My knees were knocking. I couldn't remember what we were doing. The band was playing, and Dad was yelling, "Sing, sing, son!" And I froze, and he had to sing the first line of the song to even get me going.
Right.
But the bug hit me then. Yeah. It did. And he taught me one chord on the guitar, and never taught me another one because I showed him 4 more after that. I just kept playing and kept playing and still play a lot today. Mm-hmm. But of course, I always get associated with the Cash name and what Uncle Johnny accomplished in this business, which was just unbelievable success.
Right, that's awesome. And not to take away from your career, I know we're talking about, your uncle and, talked a little bit about your dad, but have you come across people who are just so happy to be in contact with you because they feel that much closer to him? Because I experienced that at the Nashville Elvis Festival, where the fans there were just eager to be close to these artists who were sharing stories of their friend. Have you experienced that at all too?
I have. I have. I don't. One woman told me, she said, I've met a celebrity. I said, no, I'm not a celebrity at all. My uncle was, and my father is, but I'm not. But they feel that, I think. They feel that way. They say, can I hug you, And now I feel like I'm hugging Johnny, and I don't say a word. I let them feel how they want to feel,
What is your favorite song to cover of his? Because I know you got to cover some of his songs, even though you have your own, and you're an artist in your own right. What is your favorite song to cover of his?
My favorite is Sunday Morning Coming Down. Number one, of course, it's a great song, great story. But how he got the song is amazing. Chris Christopherson flying the helicopter into the yard. That is very true. He did do that. Uncle Johnny came out and he said, "What does he want?" And they said, "He wrote you a song." Uncle Johnny said, "Well, bring him here. I want to talk to him." And they remained close buddies from that time on. Real quick, I'd like to tell you, Chris wanted to stand with Uncle Johnny at June's funeral. At June's funeral. And he wanted to shake everybody's hand that came through the door. And Chris said, "Well, I'll stand with you. You sit." And so this big truck driver came in, and he kind of glanced at my uncle, and then he looked at Chris, and he said, "I know who you are. I've got every record, everything you've ever written, I've got it." And he walked away, and Uncle Johnny said, "See, you got one fan, Chris." So they were good friends.
That's awesome. That's
awesome. My favorite song. And then he was told that he could not sing that song. On his television show, he had his television show, the Johnny Cash show, at that time, and he was told he couldn't do it. And he told them he wouldn't, but I think it was like his 3rd song that night.
Right. I think, was that at the Ryman? I think they tell that story for tourists that go there.
Oh, they do?
Where they do something, because I remember when I took that tour, they were talking about something they told him he couldn't do, and he did it anyways, and they were not happy, but guess what? He got his way, and his fans were happy.
Yeah, Uncle Johnny felt that the fans wanted to hear what he had to say.
Absolutely.
And he knew it was a great song. And so they said he couldn't sing "Lord, I'm Wishing I Was Stoned." They said, "You can't sing that on national television. Your show is subject to be canceled." And he risked that. He believed in Chris. He believed in the song, and he did the song as he thought he should.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well,
I'm glad he did.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just glad that Chris delivered the song to him the way that he did, because who the heck rents a helicopter and flies it into somebody's backyard and risks getting put in jail?
That's right.
Handcuffed and all. That's crazy.
It's a good thing Uncle Johnny liked the song.
It's a damn good thing for Chris. Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to let you guys at home listen to that song. We're going to play it for you, so come right back.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Christopherson.
Ooh, thank you. Say, I want to tell you all a story about Johnny Cash. It goes back to when I was making my living at the Columbia Studios here in Nashville, where John was recording. And I was writing songs, too. I wasn't supposed to pitch them to the stars, but of course I did anyway. But I wasn't having a whole lot of luck. So when I had this song that I wanted John to sing real bad, I decided I'd take it out to his house in this old National Guard helicopter that I happened to be flying, and I landed it on his lawn. And at the time, that was sort of like landing on the roof of his house. Well, John, I think, was pretty amazed by it. He was easily spooked back in those days. And whether out of fear or curiosity, he not only agreed to listen to the song, and it was a hit. And I got to lay down the broom, and I also made a friend for life. Thanks again, John.
Will you get that helicopter out of my yard now and sing a song with me, all right?
I'll sing the song.
Let's do it. Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no weight up on my head. That didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. Then I fumbled through my closet for my clothes and found my cleanest dirty shirt. Then I washed my face and combed my hair, stumbled down the stairs to meet the day.
I'd smoked my brain the night before on cigarettes and songs that I'd been picking. But I lit my first and watched a small kid cussing at a can that he was kicking. Then I crossed the empty street and caught the Sunday smell of someone frying chicken. Thought it took me back to something that I'd lost somehow, somewhere along the way.
On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something in a Sunday makes the body feel alone. There's nothing short of dying, half as lonesome as the sound of the sleeping city sidewalk. Sunday morning coming down.
In the park I saw a daddy with a laughing little girl who he was swinging. And I stopped beside a Sunday school and listened to the song that they were singing.
Then I headed back for home. Somewhere far away a lonely bell was ringing, and it echoed through the canyon like a disappearing dream of yesterday. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something in a Sunday makes your body feel alone. And there's nothing short of dying, oh, half as lonesome as the sound of a sleeping city sidewalk. Sunday morning coming down.
I mean, did you ever think in a million years, though, that you were going to be performing in the place where, you know, your uncle was standing and everything? I mean...
Yeah, you know, I did not. And I will say, and I'm not bragging at all, Uncle Johnny told me, he heard me sing. Mm-hmm. I wrote a song called Uncle Johnny that talks about him and a conversation that we had. I told him, I said, you know, it's tough being your nephew. I'm not complaining. I'm proud of you. I said, I'm very proud of what you've accomplished as a human being. Right. But also, you helped change the face of music forever.
Absolutely.
And I said, I'm proud of you, but I don't know if people come out to hear me because of you or they're really there to hear me, you know? I said, it's tough being your nephew. Mm. And he said, you want to try to be Johnny Cash? I said, no, sir, I don't. And it was tough being Johnny Cash. I'm sure when you reach that iconic stage that those guys reached, you know, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, you know, when you reach that status, I think maybe more is expected of you, maybe, you know, top this type thing. Yeah. So what do, you know? Right. And everybody, he said, everybody wants to talk to me. They want to borrow money or they want to get me alone. They want to have me invest my time in this. And he said, I love everybody and want to comply with everybody's wishes, but it's hard.
It's hard. He's a human being, and he has a life to live, and he has, you know, his own personal needs, just like you, just like me, just like everybody else. We all have things that we would love to do, but we all need to take a break for ourselves sometimes too. So, I mean, and it's good to hear stories where, you know, he got to, you know, tell you about all of that. And it's kind of like, you know, lifelong advice, right? I mean, hold on to those words. Because, you know, there's nothing wrong with taking that time for yourself when you need it. And so, and just how amazing, too. I mean, the guys that they paved the world, you know, the way for all the music artists today. I mean, you're never going to find another Johnny. You're never going to find another Jerry or a Carl or, you know, or an Elvis. I mean, those four guys, the $1 Million Quartet, they're just phenomenal, and you know they can't be touched, and you know you shouldn't have to like you said, you want to try to be Johnny Cash. No, you need to be you, and that's what everybody else needs to focus on. Be themselves and be the next step. That's right. And let me tell you, when the Auxleys came to me and said, we want you on the stage, we want to have you run the stage at the little stage, and I knew that I had to sing Johnny Cash, mostly Johnny Cash songs. I didn't know any because when I was growing up and learning music, there was a Johnny Cash, and I sounded a little bit like him anyway. Right. So I stayed away from it. I didn't. Now I did a few of his songs. I had to on stage, you know, during my concerts, but. For the most part, I didn't learn his songs, so I've had to relearn them today for folks, and I'm glad that I have. I'm not complaining, but they want to hear him. They want to hear his. I hear Johnny Cash's name every day somewhere. Exactly. And I'm not talking about just the museum and farm. Somewhere in my daily activities, I hear his name every day. Absolutely. Well, I mean, he's all over everywhere you go. I mean, there's pictures in places you wouldn't expect to see pictures, you know? I mean, it is great, and he is a huge name. He's left a huge legacy behind, and he's got so many fans that from, you know, young to old. It's just, it's crazy, and I'm one of them. I love Johnny Cash, but I love all of you guys, and everybody that was here today was just great, but there's one thing that I really wanted to ask you. Sure. The video clips that they show the fans when they come in here, there are some clips of some footage of his 20-year celebrating where, you know, you guys were standing at for the picture. But I was told that a lot of the family didn't even know that that was on footage, that his 20-year celebration wasn't even on footage. So have you been able to see the entire video?
Yes, I have. You know, it was amazing. Brian Oxley bought the farm, and going through things, and the previous owner didn't have it long, and he left everything where it was mainly. So Brian found a VCR tape, and he found a VCR player, believe it or not, and he put it in, and he found the 20-year anniversary party, and he started asking people and family, where was this?
Right.
And nobody really could remember. And somebody finally told him, this building here.
Right.
And so this building was covered in brush. It was leaning over.
Oh, yeah, we saw the photos.
Right.
It's crazy.
And so Brian wanted to build it exactly, rebuild it. We kept as much as we could of the walls and of the original building. If it was keepable, he kept it.
Absolutely.
And then redid what we had to do. But it was a hot day that day in 1976, and I was 14, and Uncle Johnny and I stood right over here with Dad and Carl Perkins. And I just remember Carl doing this so much. It was hot, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
You know, and
The happiness
Right.
in that room. I mean, sitting in the pew watching it up on the TV here, I mean, I couldn't help but feel emotional just watching all the laughter and the smiles. And Johnny was just so touched. And what Carl Perkins said to him, just, oh my gosh, it was like, I can't even imagine have been in that room and what that was like. And of course, you did see that everybody was hot. And, you know, you saw some sweat on people. But what an amazing experience for you, and to be able to follow your dream and to continue to do what you're doing and keeping the name and the alive and the music alive. And everybody here appreciates it. We all do. And but what else do you have coming up? Do you have links that we can share with people to find you?
I do. Well, I'm on Facebook, Mark Allen Cash, and also I'm here. We're open now. We've gone to our summer hours, which is Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And we do have the Saturday night at Hickman Counties. But you can check our Facebook, Storytellers Museum, and the website.
Okay.
And that lets you know who's coming, who's going to be here, to let you plan ahead a little bit so you can come out and enjoy this wonderful piece of
Right.
property and where he called the center of his universe.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
And you have music for sale too, right?
I do,
I
I
mean,
do.
because we heard one of the duets that you just did with Rachel Dawson. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I love that song. You guys got to get it.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
telling
you.
you at home, you guys got to get his music. He's amazing.
Thank you so
You're great.
much.
No,
That-
awesome.
That means a lot to me. I'm so fortunate to work with David Langley, who is just one of the best musicians, writers,
funny.
singers in the country, and then Rachel Dawson too. So we have a good time.
That's great. That's great. And we're going to be able to see you at the farm later today,
Yes,
right?
you will. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we will bring you more, but until next time, stay tuned.